What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, the future is breaking apart because of something that happened yesterday? Today, I'm going to share the most incredible story about three ordinary people who discovered time travel and accidentally destroyed everything they tried to save. This story will change how you think about time forever. It started in a small town called Millfield in the year 2024. Dr. Sarah Chen was working late in her garage laboratory, trying to solve the biggest mystery of her life. Her daughter Lily had died in a car accident 6 months ago, and Sarah couldn't let go. Sarah wasn't just any scientist. She was brilliant. She had 3 PhD degrees and had spent her whole life studying quantum physics. But all that knowledge meant nothing when she couldn't save the person she loved most. Her husband Marcus thought she was going crazy. "Sarah, you need to stop," he begged her every night. "Lily is gone. We need to move on." But Sarah couldn't move on. She wouldn't move on. Working beside Sarah was her best friend Jake, a computer programmer who had loved Lily like his own niece. Jake had his own pain. His twin brother Alex had died in the same accident. They were coming home from a movie together when a drunk driver hit their car. The third member of their team was someone unexpected, Mrs. Eleanor Watson, the 78-year-old woman who lived next door. Eleanor had lost her grandson Tommy in that same crash. 3 families, 3 broken hearts, all connected by one terrible night. Eleanor wasn't a scientist, but she was smart in ways that surprised everyone. She had been a mathematics teacher for 50 years and could solve problems that stumped people half her age. 4 months, these 3 grieving people worked together in Sarah's garage. They were trying to build something that everyone said was impossible. A time machine. Marcus tried to stop them. "This is insane," he shouted. "You're destroying yourself trying to play God." But Sarah, Jake, and Eleanor wouldn't listen. They worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. They sold everything they owned to buy equipment. They stopped eating properly, stopped sleeping, stopped caring about anything except their one goal. Then, on a rainy Tuesday night in November, something incredible happened. Their machine, a strange device that looked like a giant metal ring, began to glow with blue light. "It's working," Sarah whispered, her hands shaking. "It's actually working." The plan was simple. They would go back to that terrible night 6 months ago. They would stop the drunk driver. They would save Lily, Alex, and Tommy. They would fix everything. Eleanor was the first to step through the glowing ring. "I've lived long enough to know that some chances only come once," she said. "I'm not missing this one." Jake followed her. And Sarah. The blue light surrounded them, and suddenly they felt like they were falling through space and time itself. When the light faded, they were standing on a familiar street. But something was wrong. The street lights looked different. The cars were older. Sarah checked her phone, no signal. "What year is it?" Jake asked, looking around nervously. Eleanor pointed to a newspaper blowing in the wind. The date read March 15, 2019, 5 years before the accident they wanted to prevent. "We overshot," Sarah said, trying not to panic. "We went too far back." But Eleanor smiled. "Maybe this is better," she said. "We have 5 whole years to prepare. We can make sure that drunk driver never gets behind the wheel that night." They found the drunk driver's name in old police records. Robert Martinez, a man struggling with alcoholism and depression. Instead of just stopping him on one night, they decided to change his entire life. What they did next was amazing. Sarah used her scientific knowledge to help Robert get a job at a research facility. Jake taught him computer skills. Eleanor, with her teacher's heart, helped Robert go back to school and get his GED. Slowly, Robert's life began to change. He stopped drinking. He got married to a wonderful woman named Lisa. He had 2 kids and became a loving father. By 2024, Robert Martinez was a completely different person. Sober, happy, and successful. There was no way he would be drunk driving on that terrible night. The 3 time travelers felt victorious. They had done it. They had saved their loved ones without hurting anyone. But when they returned to 2024, something was horribly wrong. Lily was alive, But she wasn't Sarah's daughter. She belonged to a different family across town. Alex was alive too, but he didn't know Jake. He had grown up in another state. Tommy was alive, but Eleanor had never met him. What happened? Sarah cried, looking at wedding pictures on her mantelpiece. In every photo, she was married to a man named David, not Marcus. She had no memory of David at all. Jake's life was completely different too. He was married to a woman he'd never met, living in a house he'd never seen before. Eleanor's house was occupied by strangers who claimed they'd lived there for 20 years. The truth hit them like a lightning bolt. By changing Robert's life so dramatically, they had created a ripple effect that changed everything else. Robert never got that DUI that night in 2019 because he was sober. But that meant he didn't lose his license. So he was driving a different route that night in 2024. A route where he accidentally bumped another car at a red light. That small bump caused the other driver to be 2 minutes late. Those 2 minutes meant that driver didn't hit another car at an intersection. That prevented a traffic jam. The traffic jam would have delayed an ambulance. The ambulance would have saved a man having a heart attack. But without the traffic jam, the ambulance took a different route and arrived too late. The man died. That man's death created more ripples. His wife moved away from grief. His son grew up without a father. His daughter chose a different college. His business partner started a company that became huge. Every single change created more changes. Like dropping a stone in a calm pond, the ripples spread out in all directions, touching lives they never imagined. Sarah's parents met in a grief support group after losing their first grandchild in the original timeline. But in the new timeline there was no accident, so no grief group, so they never met. Sarah was never born. But somehow, impossibly, she still existed. She was caught between timelines, remembering a life that never happened. Jake discovered something even more terrifying. In this new timeline, his computer company had never been started. The app he created, a simple weather app, had never existed. That app was used by millions of people to plan their days. Without it, people made different choices. Some got caught in storms. Others missed important meetings. A few met the love of their life because they were in the wrong place at the right time. Eleanor found the worst change of all. In the original timeline, she had taught mathematics to over 3,000 students during her 50-year career. Many of them became engineers, doctors, and scientists who made important discoveries. But in the new timeline, Eleanor had become a librarian instead of a teacher. Those 3,000 students learned from different teachers who inspired them differently. The future of science and medicine was completely changed. The 3 time travelers realized they had made a terrible mistake. They hadn't just saved 3 lives. They had broken the entire future. "We have to go back," Sarah said desperately. "We have to fix this." But when they tried to use the time machine again, it wouldn't work. In this new timeline, Sarah had never become a scientist. The garage where they built the machine belonged to someone else. The machine itself had never been invented. They were trapped in a world they had accidentally created, watching everything they loved disappear or change beyond recognition. Jake tried to recreate his weather app, but without the specific experiences that inspired him in the original timeline. He couldn't remember exactly how it worked. Eleanor tried to become a teacher again, but all the positions were filled by people who had been teaching for years. Months passed. The 3 friends met secretly, trying to figure out how to fix what they had broken. They studied every newspaper, every change, trying to understand how their small action had created such massive consequences. They discovered that the future was more fragile than they ever imagined. Every decision, every moment, every tiny action was connected to everything else in ways that were impossible to predict. The butterfly effect wasn't just a theory. It was reality. And they had set loose a hurricane. But then Eleanor had an idea. "What if we can't fix the timeline?" she said. "But we can make this new timeline better." Instead of trying to go back in time again, they decided to work within their new reality. Sarah used her knowledge to help advance medical research in ways that had never happened before. Jake created new technologies that solved problems differently than his original timeline. Eleanor started tutoring students for free, sharing the wisdom she had gained from 50 years of teaching, even if she had never officially taught in this timeline. Slowly, they began to see positive changes. Sarah's medical research led to breakthrough treatments for diseases that had claimed millions of lives. Jake's new approach to technology created solutions for climate change that were more effective than anything from the original timeline. Eleanor's tutoring program inspired a new generation of students who went on to make incredible discoveries. Years passed. The three time travelers grew older, but they never stopped working to make their broken timeline better than the original had ever been. They learned to find joy in small moments. Sarah found love again with David, the man she was married to in this timeline. Jake discovered that his new wife was actually the perfect partner for him. Eleanor made new friends and found new purposes. Most importantly, they learned that trying to change the past was less important than working to improve the future. One day, as they sat together in Eleanor's new garden, Jake asked the question they had all been thinking. Do you regret it? Do you regret trying to save them? Sarah was quiet for a long time. Finally, she said, I regret that we broke the timeline. But I don't regret trying to save people we loved. I just wish we had been wiser about how we did it. The story of the three-time travelers teaches us something powerful about life and loss. When we lose someone we love, it's natural to want to change the past. But maybe the real power isn't in changing what happened. It's in using our love and grief to make the future better. Sarah, Jake, and Eleanor never saw Lily, Alex, and Tommy again in their new timeline. But their love for those lost children inspired them to save thousands of other lives through their work. They learned that time isn't just about moving backward or forward. It's about making every moment count. The future they accidentally broke became more beautiful than the one they originally tried to save. Not because it was perfect, but because they put their whole hearts into healing it. Sometimes the most broken things become the most beautiful when they're put back together with love. Remember, you don't need a time machine to change the world. You just need the courage to use today to build a better tomorrow. This has been another mind-bending story from Lil Savvy Tales. If this tale of time, love, and consequence touched your heart, smash that like button, subscribe for more incredible stories, and share this with someone who needs to be reminded that every moment matters. What would you change about the past if you could? Let me know in the comments below.